Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I've got for you today to start the day off is we've got to dive into a little bit more of the details that are starting to emerge around Chuck Schumer's new call to get votes for gun control on the floor of the Senate. I'm going to walk you through everything that is currently up to date as we go into this. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. We need to spread this information far and wide as quick as possible so we can be in front of the onslaught against our rights. Now, leave something in the comments and let me get your thoughts on this, because what we have to dive into right now is the actual path that Chuck Schumer has laid out for this. Now, keep in mind, we're going to do exposés on this later on in the day, later on this week, around Ethan's Law, universal background checks, and the assault weapons ban, which is what he put forward. But there's some things that are striking me as very odd in the way that this is being perceived and accepted across the gun controllers, across the media. There's very weird discrepancies, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and please stay tuned because there's lots to cover on this, and we are writing a letter right now to a member of the Senate, which you guys are going to love. All right. So first of all, let's get into what happened yesterday, and I thought this was funny. Tim, from when we were doing our second legacy filming this morning, brought this up. So this is the tweet from Chuck Schumer that I showed you guys yesterday. This week, I will put the assault weapons ban on the Senate floor. After I led the passage of the Brady bill and the assault weapons ban 30 years ago, America saw a decrease in mass shootings and gun deaths. We must stand with the American people and against the gun lobby. He got fact-checked, and he got community noted on Twitter. Okay, here's what it actually says. This is not an easy process. Check this out. This claim is misleading. By the way, cited factcheck.org. Just want to throw that out there. The 1994 assault weapons ban final report concluded that the gun crimes involving assault weapons declined. Weird. However, that decline was offset through at least the late 1990s by steady or rising use of other guns. So everything was offset. Chucky's lying to you. Shocker. Now, if you want to find more details, go to our second legacy episode, which is airing tonight with me and Tim from Military Arms. We dive into all of the things, and it's actually a pretty good episode you guys should like. But Chuck said something that I thought was very fascinating, and it was all around something called universal consent. Let me play that for you. Listen to what he said, because the details are important.
Assault weapons ban. Madam President, later this week, I will join my Democratic colleagues here on the floor to ask unanimous consent to pass the assault weapons ban.
All right, so universal consent. I find that an interesting word when you're talking about the actual rules of the Senate. Check this out, because this is an incredibly important thing to understand, because remember, the filibuster is still in place. Let me show you the path that this thing has to take, and you tell me if there's not an ulterior motive here. How does the Senate get around the filibuster now? Senators have two options when they seek to vote on a measure or motion. Most often, the majority leader seeks unanimous consent. Look at that. Asking if any of the 100 senators objects to ending the debate and moving to a vote. That means a single Republican stands up and says, no, we're not voting on this. They don't vote on it. All right? If no objection is heard, that means they continue and vote. And that's where the advantage gets for the Democrats, 52-48 in the Senate. However, if they don't have the consent of all 100 senators, the leader typically files a cloture motion, which then requires 60 votes to adopt. If fewer than 60 senators, a supermajority in the chamber, support cloture, that's when we often say the measure has been filibustered. They still have to do the filibuster. Only this time they're starting off with the goal of 100, which is all of the body of the Senate, all Republicans included. And then it goes down and falls back to the filibuster, the thing that they hate more than anything. So you got to go from 100, and if that fails, you got to go to 60, which is the original problem. So why is this going down like this? And that's where I got to get to, because the next thing, it would happen if Chuck got 100% of the support in the Senate, or if he got 60% of the support in the Senate, it has to go to this guy, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. He's a 2A supporter through and through. So he would actually have to take the Senate's bill, put it on the floor, and then all the Republicans, they would have to find ways to pick off enough to pass it to the House, and then Biden signs it into law. Now, that seems kind of like tall odds. We're still going to dive into everything that they're doing, because this is not about what are the odds of them passing and not passing about this. This is about what are they up to, because this is something that sounds a lot like this. Check this out. Also, Chuck Schumer last night.
So when Democrats come to the floor this week again to pass the assault weapons ban and other gun safety legislation, I urge my Republican colleagues to stand with us.
Did you catch that? All about the Democrats and joining with Republicans and fighting the NRA and the gun lobby and the scourge of gun violence and against guns and all this talking points from the gun control side of the aisle. He specifically said Republicans join me after he's going to ask 100% in all of these senators on the Republican side to join him in us banning these assault weapons, universal background checks, and Ethan's Law. All of these things together seem a little odd. And on top of that, the media is not even covering this. I said that right. If you Google this, the media did not touch it. And that, my friends, is very odd, particularly when the gun control organizations are out there pounding their chest and shouting from the rooftops. The media hasn't touched it, and they're no friend to gun rights. Something's rotten in Denmark, and that's what we're going to find out. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Let me know. See you then.